Okay. And I love that description. And in that description, listening to you now, you kind of skip past a very important part of your life, which is what we're here to talk about, man.
Yes, because that is what we're here to talk about. Man. So I became a widower just over a year ago. My wife had a stroke and she passed on. And that's been a journey from being blissfully in love and having what you consider to be the perfect life and watching it fall apart in front of you and having to go on and still do everything that's required of you as a son, as a brother, as a friend, as an employee, as a supervisor. It's a lot. Yeah.
Man. And I mean, I'm listening to that and, there's a lot of coping that you had to do there, man. And it's one of the biggest questions I think I always ask you, like, man, how did you do it, man? How did you get over all of this? And that's in comparison with like a lot of stories that I hear. Like, so I've lost some people, but I haven't lost like a wife or a son or a daughter. So that is something that's like so out of the ordinary for me. And to see someone carry it with grace and still be able to like, laugh and smile about it, right?
Well, I can laugh and smile about it now. Now, today, yes. I can look at it and be completely in awe of how God blessed me for the decade that I was with my wife and look at all of the beautiful memories we created and not be racked with guilt talking about it. I think the first time I was able to say that was a couple of weeks ago, where I was telling someone who didn't know the story what happened, because they'd seen a picture where I had a wedding band on. But when they met me, I wasn't wearing my wedding band because I don't wear it anymore. Yeah. It's like, oh, you took off your wedding band? Like, no, my wife passed away. This is what happened. It's like, oh, wow, that is so intense. It's like, yeah. But you're saying it and you're okay. Like today, I can say it and I'm okay. Before, I would tell you the story and I wouldn't be able to sleep because I'd be crying the whole night.
Man. And how does now that feed into how you view just like committing to something now, right? Because you've committed to something and lost it, man.
Yep.
Did that affect like you trying things out now after that happened? Were you like a little bit hesitant to do stuff work-wise? How did you handle that?
Very hesitant. Even now, I think I've noticed I've become way more nonchalant. Like, it's like, oh, there's that. We'll see if I feel like it. If I don't, oh well, we move.
Sure.
It's been a journey of extending grace to myself. And that's not something I've always been good at. So it's primarily thanks to my community that I'm able to extend the grace I need to extend to myself to be able to deal with this. Yeah. Because there are days where you're just like, why am I even alive? What's the point? And you then have to find the reason in the stuff that's going on around you. In the first days, it was, I have responsibilities.
Sure.
That's what got me through the day. I have responsibilities because you're watching everybody else around you fall apart.
Yeah.
And they're looking to you to keep them together. It's like, if you start falling apart, what happens to everything and everyone around you? So you just have to put your feelings to the side for a bit. Not that it's good, not that it's healthy, but it's what was necessary in the immediate aftermath. I don't think I felt my feelings for the first 4 months after my wife and child passed.
Wow.
There was no room for feelings. There was too much that needed to be done. So you write your list of what needs to be done today. You get through that list, you start again tomorrow. And you see how far you can go.
One day at a time, man.
One breath at a time. A day is a long way, especially when you can't sleep. Because I think because of how the situation played out, when my wife came out of hospital after the first stroke, I was the primary caregiver. So I was taking care of her day and night, and I'm still working. So during the day, you have other people who can help out and stuff, so you can take 2 hours off to attend a meeting.
Sure.
But at night, it's just you. And you're taking care of a person who can't speak. So you are literally watching them for signs of discomfort or distress. So you don't sleep. And that's going on for weeks on end. And then you move from that to you can't sleep because your mind won't shut down because it's trying to process everything that's happened. So the first night I had a good night's sleep was probably 3 months after my wife passed away. So I didn't get any meaningful sleep for about 5 months.
Man.
He's surviving on power naps.
Jeez, man. Well, hey, welcome to my world.
Well, it's a very interesting world, I'll tell you that.
Okay, man. And, man, Tich, it's almost like I never can, as much as I hear it and I see it, like going through it, I just can't wrap my head around it, right? So what's your appreciation of life like right now?
I don't think that ever changed. There were a few things that never changed with everything that was going on in my life. My faith and belief in God and His plan for me and everyone around me. My presence on Twitter. And my outlook on life. Those 3 things never changed. There was never a day where things were off. So I still believe life overall is a beautiful thing.
Okay.
Yes, terrible things happen within it, but that's life. And the way I see it is, if I'm going to say no to this experience, who would I rather it happen to? And can I point to someone and be like, yes, I'd like this to happen to this person? And I remember I said something of that nature to someone. They're like, yes, you should, like this, so and so. It's like, but that's not how it then happens. It will be passed on to someone you care about, and then you have to watch them carry that burden. It's like,
you don't want that.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
It's fine. Sign me up.
Man. And now you talk about this Twitter community, and Twitter for me at least is like, yeah, sure, I'll put stuff out there, but I don't kind of take it that seriously until I meet people like you. I'm like, okay, there are people who actually have sensible stuff to say and will connect with you on a different kind of level, right? So there's a sense of community in that, right? There's a sense of support that comes with that. But in your situation, you obviously had to reach out to someone, some way, or get help from something to get you through that period, right? So was it therapy? Was it people? Was it a combination of all of those?
Primarily therapy. I've been in therapy essentially all of my adulthood. So it wasn't a you thing to be working with a therapist. It was just more intense because I was dealing with a lot more hectic stuff. And thankfully, I had established really good relationships with my personal therapist as well as our workplace psychologist. I'm lucky enough that where I work, we have a dedicated resource that provides mental health support to staff members. So they were both with me the entire journey. So dealing with the initial shock of, my life has turned topsy-turvy, to dealing with, I'm a primary caregiver, I still need to work, I have everything else going on in my life, I have school, and trying to find balance in all of that, and then dealing with the loss and trying to process what's happening. So that definitely was the big pillar of support. Besides therapy, I think a lot of my friends really rallied together. My friends have been amazing through this journey. I need to commend them. They have gone above and beyond. Where people will see you post something and that doesn't sound like you. Where are you? It's like, I'm here. Like, okay, I'm on the next flight. Or you don't sound like you're okay. Are you free on Friday? Like, why? You can't spend the weekend in my house. I don't want you to be alone. So it's really been a combination of professional, mental, and emotional support, as well as personal relationships that I've cultivated. And that's the thing. You need to cultivate these relationships. I think a lot of us want the support when life happens, but if you haven't created the platform where people can go through all 3,000 tweets that you post in a day and then see the one where it's like, that is not you.
Man,
people don't know what to do.
man.
So they'll leave you to do what you're doing because that's the nature of your relationship, that it's on the surface. And yeah, it's on the surface, but underneath the surface, you're dying.
Man, that's so profound. I mean, I remember when you say that, that's something that Arabi said in the episode we had, where it's like, if your friends don't know, if it's been like 2 weeks, 2 months, you haven't said anything, then like you clearly don't have friends.
True.
and we've had these conversations about, the quality of friendships, and I often like, I've got relationships, but like, a lot of them.
You have people you play with.
I've got acquaintances, man. Let's keep it at that. Right? But I've got some mates who I've had long relationships with. But I've always wondered, like, man, at what point do people understand? Like, and also looking at myself, right? Like, do I understand them? Because we always kind of make everything about other people. It's like we don't see how we show up for people. Right?
Which I think collectively all of my friends are in different pods. I don't have one friend group. I think the only 2 times most of my friends have been in the same space were at my wedding and at my wife's funeral.
Wow.
Most of my friends do not know each other, and I like it that way. It's very deliberate. But all of them will agree that this was the one time they could all be there for me.
Man.
In the way I've been there for them in whatever they've been going through.
Man.
So it really is a process of creating a space where people feel like they can step up. And they can step up in ways that make sense to you. Because if I do something for you, KG, in a way that works for me, without understanding you, it doesn't mean anything to you.
Sure.
I feel good in the moment, but then I feel bad. It's like, but you didn't even appreciate what I did. It's like, yeah, but what you did means nothing to me. So I don't know who you were doing it for. Like, I hope you got the likes you wanted on Instagram, because to me, you haven't started.
Man. And there's some truth that we need, I think, more of in our friendships, right? It's like people, if you were just more honest with the people you hang with, I think maybe you'd have less friends, or maybe you'd have way better friends.
Probably both. Because in as much as we're saying it's been a good experience, I've also lost, especially my longer term friends. A lot of the people that were my friends in high school, I think, aren't my friends anymore after this experience, because the way they showed up or didn't show up didn't resonate with me. It's like, I cannot be in connection with you if this is how you deal with this. Like, I can excuse a lot of things, but this is a bridge too far. If this is you and how you show up in the world, I want no parts. And it's painful, because now you are compounding the grief of loss, because these are the people who know you the most. And you'd expect that at the time where your world is falling apart, those are the people who rally around you. But for some of them, they were nowhere to be seen. And you're like, I've been friends with you for 20-something years. You have known every single person I've dated. You have been here for every single milestone in my life. And then this happens, and you can't be bothered to show up. Like, it's cool. Stay gone. Yeah.
Hey, man. So, guys, let's be intentional about those friendships, man. I mean, hey, if you don't have friends, that's okay too, right?
No, it's not. It's a big red flag. No. Anyone without friends, especially if you're looking to have established a romantic relationship with them and they have no friends, run.
Oh, wow.
Big red flag. Also, people who don't make you friends. For me personally, that's also a red flag.
That's a red flag.
It's not a big one, but it's a red flag. Because why are you entering new spaces and you can't find one person to befriend?
Oh, man.
The problem is you.
Oh, man. That's a whole nother episode on its own. Man, okay, Teach, I know we're getting a bit off track, but we're still part of it, right? So now you're now in the space where it's, now I have to change now and kind of change outlook, change gears. I probably have to find something to fill the time and that space that I had created for my wife and my child to be there, or for me to be there for them. So now, how do you navigate life going forward?
Yeah, it's a maze. I think in the initial stages, you're too shocked by what has happened to consciously think about, okay, so what's next? And then you get to a space where you are mentally accepting that, okay, my life has fundamentally changed. Because I flipped my life completely upside down to be a present father.
Yeah.
The husband part, I was doing brilliantly. There were no issues there.
Sure.
But
sure.
I changed.
Hey, word to that. Word to that.
It is what it is. I changed my schedule entirely to make space for that chapter of our lives.
Sure.
And then you've made that change and all of that's gone. It's like, okay, so what do I do now?
Yeah.
And honestly, the first 7-8 months were hard. And that contributed to my insomnia. It's like, what next? Like, I had made plans for my life for the next 3-4 years based on where we were. And now all of those plans mean nothing. So what next? And you're lying in bed, it's 2 a.m, and you can hear all of the clocks ticking. And it's like, yeah, so what's next? And I think for me, the thing that helped was to just take it one day at a time. So, okay, I literally do not know what's next. And this is the first time as an adult that I have no idea what I'm going to do next with my life. And I'm okay with that. I wake up, I will try and have a good day, and we'll see what happens. And honestly, I am still there. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing beyond... For this week, I think beyond the day after tomorrow, I literally have no idea.
Man.
And sometimes I leave work and I'm taking a few days off. And I always laugh with the people I play with, particularly those in our human resources department, that I might not come back. So please be prepared for me to DHL you a laptop. Like, what? Like, yeah, I literally might not come back. I don't know if I will come back. Because being here is very painful. So I might go home and decide that actually, nah, I'm good. Let's see what happens doing something else somewhere else. So I'm still in that space of one moment at a time. But it's no longer one moment at a time because I can't breathe or focus beyond this moment. It's me being okay in uncertainty. It's like, in this space, maybe this is what healing looks like. Just allowing myself to breathe and enjoy this moment.
Man, that's profound, man. And, something then it hits me when you're talking about friends and that, right? And now moving on and the support that comes with that. We had a very interesting chat about it.
Well, interesting is one way to put it.
I want to pop it in there, There's a kind of remorse, kind of like feeling sorry for you type thing that comes, right? And I think you actually tweeted about it one time. That how the hell is this person throwing bones right now, man? Taking the opportunity in my hurting
so
to throw bones, right?
to give context to this. Someone was propositioning me, and part of their propositioning was, why are you making me compete with a dead girl?
Man.
And I'm there like, firstly, I was not aware that you had these feelings towards me. Secondly, you referencing my wife is the worst thing you could do if you were actually serious about being seen in that light. And thirdly, why would you say something that vile? Like, even if I was interested, that has made sure that it will never be you. So yes, it's tough where people look at what you're going through as an opportunity for them, and their interest is, you should be over this by now because that's what men do. Men move on from their wife at the gravesite. So it's been all of these months. Yeah, you should be fine by now. So if I proposition you, what's the problem? You're single, I'm single. Why are we not mingling?
Wow.
It's like, I'm not there. It's like, what do you mean you're not there? Like, I'm processing my emotions. It's like men processing emotions in one sentence. Ooh, we've heard it all today, Sana. We are hearing things. It's like, yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't have the bandwidth to engage with you at the level you want me to engage with you.
Man, you guys need to drop that, man. I mean, like, how, like, come on, man. You know, like, take a brother out to something. I mean, trying to, like, throw bones, like, during that time.
No, we're trying to fast results. We want instant action.
Man.
It's like, the quickest way to get over one boat is to get on top of another one. It's like,
Really?
okay.
Is that what
I did not know. I did not know.
Oh, man.
Thank you for alerting me. I will keep that under advisement. I will take strong guidance on that one.
Man. And I love it. I mean, instant gratification is the thing now. You know, all of these, I always say someone will see a 3-minute clip of something that's, you know, it just hits home and it just opens up whatever, and you feel so good in the moment.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh man, I want more of this, right? And more of this will make me feel better. But there's grace, which takes way much longer, right? For it to kind of make sense in our understanding, right? Because grace is like this thing. It's just like, it's probably happened, but you didn't comprehend it yet. But at some point, you're like, oh, that's what that was, right? So how is like God's word and support and prayer have been beneficial to you?
Extremely.
Yeah.
It's been extremely beneficial. I've been doing a lot more journaling. Not that I wasn't journaling before, but I think the intensity and frequency with which I journal now is just wild.
We should put hand claps to that.
So you go back and read some of these things and you're like, oh, wait. That's what was happening. I see how that ties into where I am now. And it's starting to make sense. And walking that journey of, today I have no answers, God. But I am trusting you that you are going to make it make sense in some way, shape, or form at some point, even though I don't have answers today, allows me to not be anxious about where I'm at or what I've lost or what I've missed out on because I've been so caught up in my grief. It's like, yeah, they're probably really great opportunities for my career that I turned down because I wasn't in the headspace to engage with people like that. It's like, oh, we have this opportunity for you. Just like, I don't have it in me to do this. And you let it go. Even when you're like, I don't want to be here in a professional sense and you want to do something else. And then you see the kind of opportunities you're getting, you're like, the amount of engagement you want from me for this to work out is not something I have. And you pray about it, it's like, yeah, this is not the opportunity for you. And as much as you're hurt by letting it go, you're like, yeah, it's fine. If you say this is not for me, it's not for me. And just walking and communing with God while I walk. I normally do it every Sunday night into Monday morning. Start off my week like that. Just take a good 3-4 hour walk and just hear what's happening in the world. And more importantly, hear what's happening within me. It's like, oh, I felt like this on Wednesday. Why? You go through everything that happened. You're like, that's why I felt like that. Okay, so what are we saying about this universe? Show me something. And during the course of the day, you see or hear something, like, oh, okay. That ties it in together and I see it. So grace has been so abundant in my life in this season, and it's enabled me to keep going and keep doing what I need to do for my community. And even the fact that I can do that in itself has been restorative, that I can still maintain my friendships with whatever's going on with me, that I still have really good relationships with my family, with my wife's family, with my wife's friends. That is grace. That is God in action, because what is God but us being kind to one another in the space that we are in?
Man. Amen to that. Amen. So, and I'm listening to that with like, that's like a whole lot of processing there, And
Yes.
going back to that, we mentioned guys, emotions, processing, all in that, right? Do you think this whole idea of concept of like, guys and emotions, man, that doesn't exist, right? Do you think we kind of getting the wrong end of the stick? Whereas I don't think you kind of understand that most guys do actually process. It's just that the process looks very different to how society kind of makes it seem like, right?
I'm on the fence on that one because I get where people are coming from when they say men don't process their emotion, because I've watched men not process their emotion.
Okay.
I have watched it in real time where something happens and you're like, why are you acting like you're okay? You're not. no one's asking you to cry. And I think that's where the dichotomy is. Because men hear the statement that you're not processing your emotions as you're not crying.
Sure.
No one's asking you to cry. And by the way, crying is very therapeutic. You should try it.
Try it.
If you don't, you should try it. It's amazing. But the issue is when you are actually processing your emotions, it changes how you're interacting with yourself and the world around you. And it's very visible.
Sure.
You cannot say you're processing your emotions and we're not seeing how you're processing your emotions. So if you're saying you're processing your emotions and we're not seeing any change from before and after the thing, what are you processing?
Fair. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of us are taught to suppress our emotions. So how are you processing emotions you don't even know that you have? Because if you're processing it, what are you processing? Because you have to be able to identify the specific emotion. We are taught generally that the emotion we are allowed to express is anger. Outside of anger, as a man, why are you having emotions? So, yeah, it's society blames men for an expectation that society has created for men, but a lot of the people creating that expectation within the bracket of society are other men. Patriarchy is a very violent system, whether it's the men or the women in the society that are inflicting it upon young men. It all comes back to the superstructure of patriarchy. So you have to be willing to divest from it to truly be free.
Oh, hey, that I'm for. I think that's actually the key point to kind of manhood, right? Is sure, there's all of this advice here, but like what works for you, okay? And that's not, I guess, hindering the next person from expressing their masculinity or whatever gender they choose to go with, right? Okay, so that's a very profound way to look at it. All right, I'll take that. So now we're moving on to the lesson. You know, there's always, I always say, kind of like what I alluded to earlier when I spoke about grace.
Yeah.
Right? When you think about it now in hindsight, like what's kind of like been the biggest lesson from this loss, if you ever did get to that point?
Ooh, have I gotten to that part? You are always getting to that part because you're always confronted with the why. And what you do with the why then leads you to a lesson or lessons or to the journey of finding what the lesson is. So for me, I think I've been very hesitant to ask why. I've struggled with the why. It's like, yeah, okay, you hear the why and then what? What are you going to do with it? So for me, it's always been a what next.
Okay.
So the lesson out of this is God's grace is sufficient, first and foremost. I'm here.
Yeah, man.
I'm here. And today I'm having a good day. There was a time I did not think I would ever have a good day ever again. But I'm here. Does it hurt? Of course, it still hurts every day. And sometimes it hurts as bad as there being a fire between my skin and my flesh.
Man.
But I can still have a good day, feeling like that. The second lesson I've learned is the power of small things. Finding one thing that I'm going to do just for me and seeing how that enables me to do so much of the stuff that I need to do. It's like, so what is your one thing that you're doing just for you? It's like today, I am going to go for a walk. Yes, you want me to do all of this stuff. I'm not available. I am going for a walk. Or I just randomly get on a plane and leave. Everyone like, where are you? Like, I'm away for the next 2 days. Don't ask where I am. I'm just not here.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, you pop back up when you pop back up. It's like, oh, you had gone away. Like, yeah, I needed time. Or just being indulgent with my childlike self. Like, today I am going to go and get a bubble machine and blow bubbles. There was a day I spent the whole day doing that. Just blowing. I literally went and bought a bubble machine and I was blowing bubbles. It's like, are you okay? No. And I think the fourth lesson I'd share on that is just be honest about where you are. I think so many of us are taught that we have to be okay in everything. It doesn't matter what's happening, you have to be okay.
Yeah.
No, you have to take care of the things you need to take care of. But you can be honest about the fact that you're not okay while you're taking care of those things. So there'd be days where you're like, okay, this is what I need to do. I'm going to do it, but I really don't want to. I would appreciate if someone else could do this today. But if no one else is going to do it, fine, I'll do it.